Good evening, I'm Carol Harmer from the International Trading Institute. Please subscribe to our channel, like, subscribe, and that'll be great. You'll get all the videos that we produce. Now for tonight, it is tonight, Sunday night. Dear God, where's the weekend gone? For tonight, I'm going completely out of my comfort zone. Okay, I have only ever traded Bitcoin once, and it was a professional trader who I'd known for many years, who was a futures trader on the life floor, and we remained very close. Well, still are. And he said to me, can you look at a Bitcoin chart for me, because the street is buying. Now when you hear that phrase, the street is buying, it's not Wall Street, it is the retail market. It's advertised on TV, it hits the news, it hits the papers, the Wall Street Journal is full of it, And I think at the time, Bitcoin had just paused below 20,000. If my memory serves me correctly, I've got to say, it was my one and only Bitcoin trade, and what can I say? And it was it wasn't something that I was into. I didn't really get it, didn't understand it, it meant nothing to me. So I left that market alone. However, I can see that it's become very important to a lot of retail traders. I'm still not sure that professional traders trade it that much. But this story, so when I said to my friend, who should be nameless, I said to him, he said, you need to sell this, the street's buying it. We go on what we call, or chartists or technical traders, whatever you want to call us, we go on reversal watch. So you go onto the chart, you have a look, you think, okay, overbought, keeps going up in a straight line, has had no real correction, something's going on, something's weird. So, as you do, you think, well, I've got this tip, it's gone up from 4,000 to, I think it was just under 20,000 at the time. I've got it for about 19.2. Sold them at 19.2. And the world fell out of Bitcoin, right? It just plummeted like a stone. And I'm like, this is really volatile. And the problem with it is, because it wasn't something that I was used to, so then 2017, I would have been trading 30 something years, 32, 33. And I was quite happy trading things that I had always been involved with, i.e. futures, FX, precious metals, some base metals, commodities, not really, only when you've got a tip. Again, professional traders do like to talk to each other. You may think that we all like just sit at our desks and we don't interact. We do interact, and I've got many friends in America. I've got many friends in the Far East. I've got many friends in Europe who have been trading and have gone on to be like on the board, on this, that, on whatever, but still keep their little eye on finance, which is so much better than how it used to be when Mr. Leeson shoved the bearings under the bus, because the people who were in charge didn't understand the markets. So it's good for me, it's good for the business that people who are in charge of it now have at least an understanding of what the market does, what the market is, what the strategies are, what the commodities are. It's all a commodity. So, and the instruments, they've got to have an idea of what they are, otherwise how can you place them? So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bite the bullet. As a good friend said to me yesterday, Carol, if I sent you a chart of the planet Venus, you could give me a view on it. So this is what I'm going to do. This may well be my only crypto video, but I'm going to do my best. So the first one we're looking at is Bitcoin. I've been told by a very good source that OKX is the one that you want to look at. Okay, it's against the dollar, and this is the one that is basically traded more than the others. Now, you can see here when you look at the double top-ish, okay, on that day, you can see that the market closed up and, sorry, the market went up to 109,800, but it didn't stay up. Although it closed higher, it didn't close towards the highs, which then set off a chain reaction as you get traders screaming double tops. Now, when Bitcoin came down, it didn't really go down very much before it started on its merry way up again. So if we look at the chart, we can see that the market actually retraced to the 61.8 fib level here. Okay, we had congestion around this area as well. So therefore, what you're looking at is that around the 61.8 is where the market is going to find some support. As we now see, it did, and up it's gone on its little merry way. If you look at these moving averages, okay, you can see that all the way through this move up, the market has been kissing these moving averages. So what we'd like to see for tomorrow would be a break of here. Okay, so what I'd like to see is the market break above 105. Oh, what would I like it to go past? I'd like to see it go to through 106.50. That's what I'd like to see it do. 106.50. If you look at the indicators down around here, okay, you can see that although we dipped down lower, the market didn't really react very well, and off it went again. If you look at the momentum's slightly to the top side. If you look here, okay, you can see that the RSI is poised to trade up again. Now, the higher close does suggest that this is what will happen, but what we do is with these Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, we look for confirmation. And as there is 19,000 cryptocurrencies on the planet at the moment, you can see where you'd have to, get out and pick the right ones that are going to be tradable for you, because you're not going to be able to trade 19,000 cryptocurrencies. So what I've done is I've made a little list with some help, I have to say, with some help from a very, very expert crypto guy who I've known for over 40 years, who runs his own crypto company and has been very, very helpful to me in giving me a quick lesson in what the crypto market is all about. When I say quick, I mean very quick. I mean yesterday quick. That's very quick. So this is how I know now what markets we're going to be looking at. I don't even know the names of most of these, but I'm going to go for it, okay? We're looking at the Ripple. We're looking at Solar USD. We're looking at Ethereum. And my favourite, going through these charts, is Doge. Doge USD. Now, Doge actually has been quite a good market to trade technically. Let me show you, because I only looked at these yesterday, so you can imagine, I needed to get up to speed on them, and I'm really not. But let's take a look at Dodge. Now, apparently, when you go onto this chart, sometimes a little dog comes across the screen. Okay, I'm not going to make any comment. It's not my business why it does it, but hey ho. So this has been actually a really good little market. So if you haven't traded Dodge, have a look at it. Now, I would put, this is not how you'd be taught by a book, but I put my own lines on where I think fit. Okay, I'll call them Carol lines. They work. Right, now you can see that Dodge made a base. Now, this market hasn't been going for long. I think most of them have only been going since 2020. But look at what Dodge did. It made a complete head and shoulder pattern. Broke up. Again, you're measuring 1, 2. There's the break, 1, 2, which should take us above the 200-day moving average. And that's coming in at the 200-day moving average is coming up here at 26,703, I think, 26,883, around that sort of area. So although it's, although it's not as profitable as trading Bitcoin, what you can sometimes do, and as I do on the stock markets, is I look at the NASDAQ, which could tell me what the S&P and the Dow is going to do. So it's all this intermarket correlation, and you want as much information as you can possibly get. So you can see where this broke, this head and shoulder pattern. Now it went up. I bang on about patterns because that is what I will be teaching you. I am a pattern fiend, and I use these indicators only as a guideline. Never ever would I go and do anything on technical indicators. They're there for me to check, yes, that's the right thing to do. That chart pattern is the right thing to do. This is what this is going to do. I use these moving averages because I like these moving averages, and some say, you should do the non-smoothed moving averages. I forget the name of what it's called now, but anyway, I prefer the smoothed one. And the reason I prefer the smoothed one is because I think it takes away the noise. And I am of the old school, what says, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So what do we expect? Well, the market had a really good close on Friday, close at the highs of the day, which suggests that tomorrow it's going, maybe tonight, but it suggests that tomorrow the market's going to go higher. Okay. What else is telling us that this market is going to go higher? You're looking at the RSI. Yep, that looks like it's going to go higher. You're looking at momentum. Yes, that looks like it's going to go higher. You're looking at stochastics, and yes, that looks like it's going to go higher as well. You're off the highs, you're in the midsection of all of these indicators, and the midsection is the one where if it turns, if it's in an uptrend, it should turn in that midsection. So that, for me, would be confirmation. Now, the next one I'm going to look at is Solana. Yes, you may well ask, Solana. But these are the 5 or 4 top traded cryptocurrencies. So this is the information I am giving to you. So let's take a look at Solana. Now, you can see on Solana that where the others are below, are above the 200-day moving average, Solana there isn't. It's below the 200-day moving average. So it needs to take the 200-day moving average out, which is coming in at 181, and it needs to break and hold above these highs here. And that is coming in at 184. So you've got a way to go on this one with little Solana. Again, you've got that basing pattern. You had the indicators start to turn up. We're looking at the indicators now. They are neutral, and it means when they're neutral that the market can go higher if it's in an uptrend. And at the moment, I can't see any reason for wanting to sell this unless it really fails to break that 200-day moving average. And if it does again, because it did one day, closed above it, and the next day didn't, but didn't go down far. It stayed within the technical indicators, the parameters that we give. And I can see so many patterns in that, just that one chart. And I will tell you, today's the first day I've looked at this market and the rest of them, apart from Bitcoin. But they do seem to have a lot of lovely little chart patterns that come out within it. Not so much with Bitcoin, because that is obviously the biggest market, and that is the one, you know, that everybody wants to be in. They all want to be in Bitcoin because there's not that many of them. They've got to be mined. They can't get them out of the ground, and no one likes child slave labour. So at the moment, we only have 20 million Bitcoin floating around. Now, whether or not there's going to be any more is, I don't know. As I say, it's not my forte. It's nothing. I know nothing about mining Bitcoin, okay? I do know the others aren't mined, and I do know there's billions of them around. So maybe if you want to trade Bitcoin, because it's going to be, 1, the most expensive, 2, it's going to have the most volume, 3, it's going to be heavily traded. So if you're going to do that, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you are, look at these other ones and see if you can tie in the fact that they are producing the same sort of pattern. You know, they're basing what's going to happen. Where does Bitcoin go after this? You know, when Bitcoin was at like 4,000, I think, when I bought it back in 2017. I can't remember now. In fact, I think it actually went lower, but it's a long time ago in a trader's life. So I'm not very good, not going back 8 years, but I'm just saying, if you're going to trade Bitcoin or a bit of Bitcoin, which you can trade like very small amounts, so I've been told. You can trade a very small amount of it, but look at these other ones as well, because sometimes the lesser traded instruments give you a clear outline of what's going to happen within that crypto market. I mean, if you remember at the beginning of this, I said there's 19,000 cryptocurrencies. Now, life is too short to do that. You just couldn't. No. You leave that sort of thing to the algos, let them do it, that's fine. They can do whatever they want with it. But you want to have a look at the ones that the market is looking at. And I keep doing this. I keep trying to, not educate you, but trying to, educate you. trying to point out that what you need is this, the markets, look at the correlations of markets. They do happen all the time. Okay, they do. Even in Forex, you can look at different correlations in the Forex market and know where the Eurodollar is going to go, for example. You know, you don't have to outright look at the euro. You can look at euro yen, euro Swiss, whatever, euro CAD. The ones that are traded in the market, and there's volume in it. As long as there's volume in that cross rate, you don't have to trade it. What you do is just look at it. Does it fill in with your methodology trading strategy? So if you want to go long of euro and you see euro yen, euro Swiss, euro CAD all going down, you might want to rethink your I want to be long of euro strategy. That's just an example. That happens on all currencies, and probably why I retired and do teaching now, because life was too short to work 18 hours a day. But there's a lot to learn. But what will be great is once you've learnt this, okay, you can, if you have the trader mentality and you're taught in the proper way, which is why I'm so invested in ITI. If you're taught the proper way, you can negotiate the pitfalls where most traders don't on the retail market. They don't, because they don't know the pitfalls, because no one's ever taught them the pitfalls, and you've only got these mentor people that have come around and about since the retail platforms were invented. You know, we never had mentors in the 80s. What you did, you spoke to the head or number one trader on dollar mark. You spoke to the number one trader on the cable, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, whatever. You know, you didn't go outside your specific dealing area. You know, if you were not mentored in any way. But I think really, because we had to learn on the job, as it were, especially on the life market. I mean, bless our hearts. When we went live, we just didn't have a clue of what it was going to be like. I mean, none of us, I don't think any of us had an inkling of how it was going to be, how it exploded the way it did. Caught us all by surprise. But hey, you know, we learnt on the job. But we were in an environment where we all learnt together, we all helped each other, and this is why I say I like forums. It depends on who's running them. You know, I think you've got to be very, very careful. I think if you're going to use people, you need to check their background, okay? Anybody that asks you to put in any card details for a free video, don't do it. There are reasons for this that, you know, I will explain when I teach more. But please believe me, the scams that are out there are insane. They really are. And you want somebody teaching you who's got a proven track record. I mean, nobody can doubt, say me, for example, okay? Luckily, we didn't have video cameras back in the 80s, thank God for my, you know, hallelujah, Hail Mary. But I am still, from when 2000 the internet come about, I'm still on Google, I'm still on YouTube. I've got a proven track record. I can be traced. I can't erase me off of Google. When I was 22 stone, trust me, I did want to erase that one. But I didn't erase. You can't erase somebody that's been on the internet for like 25 years. And you can't comment on someone who you know started off on life in 1982, who worked for Midland Bank, who worked for Nomura, who worked for Credit Suisse, then went back to the floor. So with me, you can check my credentials, you know. Well, a lot of people might not be alive, but I'm saying I've got a proven track record that I am who I say I am. And so many of them out there, are not who they say they are. And they're after your money. And I'm hoping that a lot of you will take this opportunity to look at ITI, see what we aim to do, and know that, you know, our only concern, certainly from the mentor side of it, our only concern is to make you a better trader. Okay, I think I've rambled on long enough, and it's very warm up here, but I can't have the fan or the air conditioning on because it makes a noise and it's just above my screen. So as I can't scream and shout now these days, I have to turn everything off. So that means I'm absolutely boiling in this. I wish you luck for next week. I'm going to do a few videos, but it won't be on this lot. It will be on things where I am au fait with and understand and can give you really good advice as to where it's going to go. Okay? I wish you all well, and I'll catch you all next week.